actually, Drew, the Disney dude, just posted this. This is actually at Typhoon Lagoon right now for the Welcome to Cusco-topia for one night only. The water part, the party at Typhoon Lagoon. So I just wanted to just showcase that because I thought that was really cool. That's where Jason Hill is also going to go as well.
I hate you, Jason, but I love you at the same time.
Yeah, he's living the La Vida Loca.
Yeah, no kidding. Must be nice. Okay. I'm going to remember that when I see you on the showroom floor at D23, if not sooner. I'll keep that in mind.
And then you just have you on one end and Jason on the other, and you just hear the wow, wow, wow.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm scrolling through everything that we already discussed, and then here we go. Okay, so going to the movie thing, this was just something that they just kind of threw in there. This was part of the D23 on the road for the Home Alone 35th anniversary. So it's basically what they did with a Goofy movie. So they're basically just going to take this movie on the road to different locations, like different cities and everything during, I guess, the holidays. So just wanted to throw that out there. Nothing too big. Now this one, this is okay. So when OG and I went to D23 last year, Jennifer Lee, who was still ahead of the Disney Animation Studios at the time, she hinted that there was going to be an animated film coming out in 2026, but there was no title. There was no storyline behind it. She said it would be coming soon. Well, fast forward to today. This was the 2026 animated film. So this is compliments to the Hollywood Handle. Walt Disney Animation Studios' new original film, Hexed, will be directed by Josie Trinidad, who worked in the animation department in Zootopia and Wreck-It Ralph, and Jason Han, who directed Moana 2. So basically, I'm going to bring this up. This is what the logo is going to look like, and it's supposed to open fall 2026, primarily November 2026. And so here is like some piece of like artwork. So it basically kind of gives off this like Halloween kind of like kind of like witches kind of thing. Now what's funny to me is, and I forget who said it to me, I don't know if it was OG or if it was somebody who messaged me, is why a movie like this they would release it the month after Halloween. Like a movie like this I would have released like September.
Yeah.
Like August or September. That's what I would have done anyway, to kind of give that like Halloween kind of feel. But also too, I hope that this is a movie, because it kind of gives off a little bit like Pixar's Onward and Strange World. And I hope that's, and even a little bit of Elio, which here's the thing. I actually adored Elio. I enjoyed that movie. But sometimes like I kind of hope that they give it that Tangled, Frozen, Moana treatment, where it's like kind of like that mythical, like fairy tale kind of thing. Like I hope it's not going to be like a quirky DreamWorks kind of movie.
Same here. Like you said, I do find it. Like you said, I do kind of find it a little interesting to me that they release it after Halloween. Again, looking at this concept art, it kind of gives that Halloween type spooky aesthetic just from this one picture alone. But I do have to agree with George. You know, with Disney and their movies lately, and not just animated movies, but some of their remakes and live actions. One in particular comes to mind is that Snow White that just tanked. Um, I'm hoping this is not a repeating pattern where it just tanks. I have high expectations for this movie, so I'm super excited about it because obviously you got the director who filmed Moana 2, which Moana has a big following as well. You got Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia, which have been absolute hits for the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney Pictures. So I kind of feel like they're gonna hit a home run with this. But again, there's always that little, you know, little worry that it might not do as well. But I hope for the best. I really do,
Mhm.
because they need a W in their column. As much as people said that, like for example, Fantastic Four did an amazing job, but
Mhm.
the box office reflects different. I hope this is not the same case.
I agree. Like we need something that would, and honestly, and if this is a huge hit and it's kind of based off of that Halloween kind of feel, they could definitely utilize this IP, for the Halloween season.
Yeah,
You could do a Halloween overlay of Hexed. You can do, for the Mickey's Not So Scary. You could do it for Oogie Boogie Bash, depending on like, what kind of villain there's going to be in there. So there's a lot of potential here. So just hopefully they execute it well. You know.
definitely.
Now coming down here, this is actually from the Disney D23. Ice Age Boiling Point was just announced at Destination D23, coming to theaters on February 5th, 2027. The newest adventure takes the herd to visit never before seen corners of the treacherous lost world. And there was another post that had mentioned this, where they mention about like volcanic eruptions and dinosaurs. Now there is an Ice Age movie that's called I think it's Dawn of the Dinosaurs, but they're adding more dinos into the mix with a volcanic kind of thing. If this movie does well, and this is leaning in, with the Fox properties, do you think this could be an extra outage that they can add into Animal Kingdom, where they can kind of have that prehistoric, bring back the dinos kind of thing, but it would be centered around a popular IP?
I think that's a great possibility, because we've talked about it on your channel, especially OG's channel, my channel, is that the Walt Disney Company in general, they are whatever attraction, show, characters, lands, they're all basing it off of IP base. So I could see something definitely like this with Animal Kingdom, especially since Animal Kingdom right now is going through a mass transformation with the tropical Americas. So
Mm-hmm.
it's more than possible to have something like this. But again, it also depends on the box office. Just because we're all saying it's great, until it gets, critiqued, rated, views, reviews, we're all speculating. But Ice Age has been around for a very long time. I think since the early 2000s.
2001.
Okay, so it's been around for 20 plus years. They wouldn't. The way I feel it is that the Disney company would not feel. They would. They wouldn't. They wouldn't be coming out with another movie from this franchise if they didn't think it was going to be a hit. So I have all my faith in Disney on this. And like George says, we could possibly see this as another attraction, maybe a land, maybe a show, maybe something that will be brought into the parks. Because, like I said, it's been around for 20 plus years and it's still going.
It is. And it's amazing to the fact of that Disney like wants to continue this franchise because it like stopped for a while.
Yeah.
So again, so as you said, they must see something in Ice Age that is gonna bring it back for sure. Now this was Joey Fatone from NSYNC. He surprised members by coming on and singing the "Trashing the Camp" song from Tarzan. I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
And then Gamma from Up, Pixar's Up, is going to make a cameo in Hoppers, the next Pixar movie coming up.
Okay.
So again, just small things there. So then Drew, the Disney dude, said they just watched a exclusive clip from the set of Avengers Doomsday with Joe Russo, Anthony Russo, and Paul Rudd. No footage from the movie was shared, but the clip was hilarious. which I did hear that it was something like where Paul Rudd was like um, in front of the Russo brothers and he was trying to block the camera from
Oh,
like seeing beyond. So like for like spoilers. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
that's hilarious.
Um,
That's something Ryan Reynolds would do as Deadpool.
yeah, which I'm surprised that they didn't get like Ryan Reynolds to do that, for Deadpool. And then courtesy of Boardwalk Times, 2026 is going to be a big year for Marvel Studios and Star Wars. The Mandalorian and Grogu is being described as Mando and Grogu's biggest adventure yet. Joe and Anthony Russo have said Avengers Doomsday is the biggest film they have ever made. So that's some big stuff to say right there. Like that's pretty telling. Now again, this is all stuff that's hyping us up for D23 next year. Can you imagine? See, and that's where people are going to like be all hyped, especially with the movie panel. Now with
Yeah.
Mandalorian and Grogu, I think it comes out later on next year, I believe. So we'll probably be getting like the last pieces of Mandalorian and Grogu at D23, I believe, because they're also going to open it with the Smuggler's Run, which was genius for doing that opening weekend. Which again, I didn't get to talk about this on the channel too, but the engineers that are part of the ride. So instead of you just pressing buttons and you don't even know why you're pressing the buttons, uh, um, engineers will be able to, before the adventure starts, will have the option to pick the location
Interesting.
before the ride. So that's a significant part. A lot of times I just like being the engineer so I could just press the button and look on the screen so I could see where the hell we're going, because
Yeah,
half the times you're looking at something else and you don't even know what's going on.
pretty much. So I want to ask you two things.
Mhm.
So, do we have some type of time frame for Avengers Doomsday to be released? Is that a fall movie, or is that going to be kind of like summer, if not late spring?
See, I would have this is the funny thing is if Doomsday comes out in the spring or early summer, that I guess unfortunately they wouldn't be able to add that into D23 because it would already be open. But that might open up a doorway to talk about Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is going to run right after Doomsday.
So this is where I'm trying to pivot to. If they do release Avengers Doomsday before D23, and
Mhm.
again, everyone watching D23 is not until mid August of next year. And let's say, like you said, Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu doesn't release until later in 2026, which I'm kind of thinking, because any Star Wars movie that I've seen, you know, in my 33 years of being on this planet, is they always try to release it closer to the holiday season, like maybe November, December. And one thing I would love to see, because we saw it in the series of Mandalorian, that they brought back Luke Skywalker when he was younger, saved everybody, including Grogu and the Mandalorian. I would like them to explore more of the galaxy and not just have characters return, but like a Darth Vader or Dark Sidious, or bring back some of those characters. I don't know how everyone feels about that, but I'm kind of nostalgic for all those characters. And the mere fact, I can't remember the actor's name, but the mere fact that the actor that played Palpatine was
Mm.
able to come back for the latest installment of not only the latest Star Wars movie, but also the Obi-Wan series, you know, which is on Disney Plus, which I'm still crossing my fingers for, that they are going to come out with a season 2. They said they are. I'm hoping that's the case. I hope there's no hiccups or dilemmas. But with this movie, I would like them to kind of explore everything and have visits from retro characters, new characters, so it doesn't feel like, oh, this is all new generation and the hell with everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I do. And I'm very curious to see, because whatever big stuff does get announced or opens prior to the next D23, that is going to leave a lot of space opened for new stuff coming in, which
Yeah.
is very promising. Because I want to see something new. I want to see something different. I don't want to see the same presentation about talking about Avengers Doomsday all the time. Like, because if we had several presentations on that, it's like, okay, let's see the movie and let's move on to Secret Wars, or Fantastic Four 2 or something,
Like,
This I have to mention because I thought this was very sweet. Which me and Abby got to have lunch with her down at Walt Disney World. Disney legend Jodie Benson will be the first official D23 fan ambassador leading up to D23, the ultimate fan event in August of 2026. Benson will engage with fans and make appearances with D23 throughout the year before the event in August.
nice.
And I thought that's very cool. I thought that was very interesting. And she is a very people person. Like, as I said, she's very sweet.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yep.
Go up one post. So let me clarify this. So where they hold this at, they had 4,000 people in there, and I talked about it way at the beginning. Was that some of the projects that were announced at last year's D23, having 4,000 people in this event is not a small venue. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, and that's why they moved it, because I think it was the Fantasia Ballroom in the Contemporary. It's big, but the one in Coronado is much bigger.
Oh, definitely. So again, going forward, I would like to see something where they have a third day and giving progress reports on current projects they announced at the last D23 to give people excited, kind of like what they've been hinting and teasing at, like showing little clips of like the new Avengers attraction, that Stark Flight Labs, where they're offsite in the warehouse. They're showing how the ride works. They're showing Tony Stark and Bob Iger riding it. I would like to see that type of content for future attractions, at least at Destination D23.
Yeah,
That's what
definitely.
like.
And I have to correct myself, because when we were talking about the seating, I said 15 to 1,700. I'm sorry, it was 15 to 17,000.
Yeah.
And by adding more capacity, it would be up to 35,000, not 100. Because if you could already fit 4,000 people just in the Coronado Springs convention hall,
Sure.
The Honda Center, you can fit.
Oh yeah.
And then the Angel Stadium, you could fit even more.
Exactly.
And then Bob Iger came on and gave his little speech and everything.
Favorite.
I'm trying to get to where which, by the way, folks, anyone who wanted this ginormous, you know what? I just now noticed Sam Carter uses the word ginormous. I use ginormous. I thought I was the only one who did. He wants this ginormous Disneyland key. They are on sale now. Now, I don't know if by the time I get there, if they're already going to be gone, but we'll see.
That scares me.
And this was interesting because this came from Scott Gustin.
Okay.
Officially begging Disney to give us a live action Treasure Planet. And actually, OG is one that would constantly say this. Director Ron Clements is here talking about the animated film as part of the D2K Animated Classics panel at Destination D23. And here's the thing. I'm not a fan of all the live actions that Disney does, but I have to say Treasure Planet would be one hell of a good live action.
Oh, 100%. 100% agree with that. I would love nothing more to see that come to life.
Yeah, like the scope of that is just phenomenal. And I do have to mention another park thing I actually forgot, and this is coming from blogmickey.com. Along with the Tron Ares overlay for Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom, guests will find a new on-ride photo. So I guess this is what the on-ride photo is going to look like. and they're going to design it to all be in red like Aries, and they're going to have the whole cover be red, and it's also going to be to the soundtrack of Nine Inch Nails.
Interesting.
So yeah, so Tron's going to get a little bit of an overlay there.
That's cool.
And then the panel they started, I guess they did, which was funny because they had a small little panel for Avatar Fire and Ash, but no one really put anything else out there other than that.
And it's interesting too. I again, I don't know if someone got video of this or not. If they just talked about the movie, or they kind of went off script for a second and said, "Oh, well, based off this movie of the franchise, we are actually currently in development, working with Disney Imagineers to bring that version of Avatar to the Disneyland Resort, aka DCA," which
Yeah.
I found very interesting. They wouldn't mention anything of that.
Yeah, like it was like all hush hush. I wonder if like they really was like kind of strict on that.
Maybe.
No one like showed anything else other than like that, as far as I know. And then I have to just show this too, because again, I usually call it when I see it, but I made this post out earlier. I'm going to call it now. Could we possibly see Patrick Warburton as an inductee for a Disney Legends Award? And I think honestly he would be perfect, because I mean he was the guy who took us soaring around, over California and around the world. He does the voice of Kronk. He's doing a new voice in Zootopia 2. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I just think he deserves a Disney Legends Award.
He has my vote.
Mm-hmm. He's hilarious. And then,
okay.
So this is the upcoming Disney/Pixar theatrical schedule. And then they just asked, coming from Toon Hive, which film are you excited for the most? So Zootopia 2 comes out November 26, 2025 of this year, followed by Hoppers on March 6, 2026. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe we could all go see Hoppers while we're down in Florida. We can go to the AMC at Disney Springs. Then Hexed, November 25th, 2026, which again, I would have done it in September or October, but to one's own. Toy Story 5, June 19th, 2026. I believe this is Pixar's Godot, right here with the cat.
Yeah.
June 18th, 2027. Frozen 3, November 24th, 2027. And then The Incredibles 3 and Coco 2, 2028 and beyond. But it looks like The Incredibles 3 is going to come out before Coco 2, which tells me if The Incredibles 3 comes out in 2028 and Coco 2 comes out in 2029, they're going to want to have kind of like a connective tissue correlation with the boat ride, I would think. So,
I think so.
I'm thinking the boat ride will probably be, what are you thinking, 2028, 2029?
I don't know. Because we've all heard at DCA, we've all heard that construction is going to be starting anytime now. It's pretty much greenlit at this point. So whenever they start, personally for me, I don't know if it's going to take 2.5 years to build it. I could be wrong. It's a possibility, but the thing I've always said about the Southern California theme parks, whether it's Disneyland, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, SeaWorld, San Diego, is the mere fact that we have a massive, and I mean a massive event coming to our shores in 2028. And everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's the Olympics. And what great opportunity would it be to get that clientele to come to the theme parks? That's what Disney wants, Universal wants, Cedar Fair wants with Knott's Berry Farm. You got SeaWorld, Legoland. They all want that. They all want that clientele. Because I will tell you, for those 2 weeks, Southern California is going to be a hurricane on steroids with people. It's going to be jam packed from Los Angeles, where the Olympics, the main hub is going to be, all the way to San Diego. It's just going to be a logistical nightmare for 2 weeks straight. But it's a great opportunity financially for all these companies. So when you ask me about something like that, unless it's going to come before the Olympics, that boat ride, I would say Disney wants that open. Obviously, Avengers is going to be open, and possibly another maybe ride or attraction open by the time the Olympics come to Southern California. So, to answer your question, it's a possibility, but if they are going to wait until 2028, hopefully it's before. I think it's I think it's June or May when they start the Olympics. So they would have to open that sometime before then,
Okay.
literally.
Okay, so probably maybe spring or early summer of 2028.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention this because I knew this was going to happen. So really quick, so down here, the Hollywood Handle posted this photo of this is the first opening scene of Zootopia 2. So this is what we're going to see when the movie starts. Now up here, this was a little video clip of somebody that recorded the first opening scene of Toy Story 5.
Oh boy.
And it was up for a little bit, and I knew it was going to happen. That it says this media has been disabled in response to a report by the copyright owner, and I knew for a fact that that was going to get taken down. I knew that for a fact.
So just to clarify real quick, anytime you're at that event or D23 and you post something as a content creator, just keep in mind there's always there's always a chance that this might happen. So don't get discouraged if it does happen.
And usually Disney will let you know if
Yeah.
they say that you can record, then you can. You're fine.
Yeah.
But if they say cameras down, phones down, put them away, and you still find a way to record it and you put it out there, technically you're still not getting away with it because Disney will find it, they'll flag you, and they'll have it taken down.
Yeah, definitely.
And then again, there's the footage for Toy Story 5. And then this is, I think, kind of cool. Officer Clawhauser making his grand debut as a costume character that they're going to have inside the international Disney parks for right now. But I think soon we'll probably see him in the domestic parks. I mean, obviously, with the Zootopia Better Together coming to Animal Kingdom, you got the new costumes for Judy and Nick. And then they're even meeting out in DCA. So I could definitely see Officer Clawhauser making an appearance for sure.
Definitely.
See, just making sure I'm covering everything.
Sure.
This was cool. This was the Hexed little like preview thing that they showed, like to unveil the title. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, I love that. That screams villains to me right away. How that was presented.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's actually what their intention could be? That being that they're building a whole entire villain's land, do you think like Hex can kind of like help along with that?
I think so. I 100% agree with that. Now, when they build Villain's Land, one thing I would say for sure is depending on how they build it, obviously if you can as Disney, something like this, like we both said, if it's successful, that's something you can integrate into the Villain's Land, but you have to make room for it. You can't just plop it, like a guest appearance. You can't just plop it anywhere in that land. It has to make sense. And that's why a lot of people are kind of skeptical about, the Hollywood backlot, because it has no identity. Like I told George, God, this was months ago. I'm sitting there walking through DCA by myself, filming content, and I turn my head like this, and all of a sudden I see Tigger from Winnie the Pooh doing meet and greets. I'm like, what in God's name is he doing here? So, and something like that, I get it. But if you're going to build a Villain's Land and you're going to incorporate some of those characters from that movie in that villain's land. First of all, it has to be relevant. Second of all, it has to do well in the box office, and it, it has to catch people's attention. It can't be just like, oh, look at those characters and then keep walking. It has to grab people's attention. So
Absolutely. And Scott Gustin reported, speaking again, kind of going off a little bit of a villain's look. Disney PhotoPass shared a look at the Tron Ares. So I know we saw this one. This was like the photo op, but this is like what it's going to look like over the whole entire canopy. It's going to be lit red.
I love that. God willing, I wish we can get that in our Tomorrowland. I know people would hate it, but I would love it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it was a long shot for Fantastic Four, and I know it didn't do so well at the box office, but you never know. If they do a sequel just with the Fantastic Four again, it may do, bigger numbers. But if Tron Ares does well, I mean, you never know. I mean, that could be their scapegoat.
Yeah, 100%. What the
This I thought was hilarious of how Disney did this Cracker Barrel like logo. Like they really like trolled them. But I give kudos to Disney for like having some fun,
Oh yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
I'm sure it's all business at the animation studio, so once in a while to crack a joke, it's hilarious.
Yeah. And then the Hollywood Handle reports The Incredibles 3 releases in theaters in 2028. So yeah, so unless they do 2 Pixars that same year, but if The Incredibles 3 comes out in 2028, then that means Coco 2 is more so leaning towards 2029.
Yeah. And if not in the same year, at least separate them 6 months apart at the very least.
Very least, yeah. And then this was the piece of footage that they could show. It shows like Buzz Lightyear, like a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, like breaking out of their boxes and stuff like that. So,
and as far as I know, George, are they still going to have Tim Allen and Tom Hanks reprise their roles?
Yes, they are reprising their roles. They actually did make that announcement at Destination D. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack is reprising her role as Jessie as well.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Believe me on that one.
Like the only person that had to be replaced was Slinky Dog because unfortunately Jim Varney passed away.
Yeah.
And then of course I think they're not going to have Mr. Potato Head because of Don Rickles passing. He already passed before Toy Story 4, but they had enough audio like of stuff that they could have used. So I don't know if they still have more audio for Toy Story 5. If not, then I think they'll just let Mr. Potato Head go.
Yeah.
And then Attractions Magazine posted a photo of all 13 Disney princesses together at once on stage. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Then they just had like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And this was the little video footage of people literally kind of stranded to get into the park.
Oh my God. You imagine that? So that's one thing me and George talk about. George is obviously a better expert than I am, but it'll be my first time in Florida, especially Orlando, in over 15 years. Because I went as a kid to fly into Orlando to jump on a Caribbean cruise. I haven't been back since. You imagine that, sitting there waiting, even under the canopies, but just how humid and hot and sticky, because we got a taste of it during your birthday weekend at Disneyland. I can only imagine those people having to wait in that.
That would probably, oh my gosh. And then I have to, so these are going to be, so they're going to showcase Spider-Man, Buzz Lightyear, and Minnie Mouse in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this coming year. But I have to showcase this because this is hilarious.
Oh, I love that.
Conan O'Brien is going to do a voice in Toy Story 5 of a character named Smarty Pants. And it's basically a potty training toy.
Oh, Lord. I can imagine.
So I could definitely see Conan O'Brien filling in that role very nicely.
Oh, definitely.
And then they just showed like different things, just like throughout the year for the holidays. And then, so this was the thing. Yeah, see Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack. And then there was some voice cast for Hoppers as well that I passed up here. John Hamm, I think he's going to be the villain in
Oh,
Hoppers, right there. I think he's going to be like the greedy mayor or something.
of course, they would get him to play that part. I love that.
King George. Yep. See, that's me, King George.
Hey, you know what? You could be a Disney character. Mondo already has his character.
That's going to be me. I'm going to be King George. That's going to be my character from
Yeah,
Hopper.
and he's Mondo the Frog, so on
Yep.
Tiana, so he's already set in stone.
And then the BDX droids made a small appearance at D23.
That's cool. So that's okay. So that's something that I would like to see more kinetic energy in our Galaxy's Edge, even in Walt Disney World. Again, I know something like those little bots are probably way over the top to, build, create, debut. But I would love to see those type of robots, any type of robots, not just R2D2. I would like to see like a C3PO. I would like to see other different droids roaming the land. Obviously see some of the aliens from the restaurants roaming the land. I think that would be so cool. And going forward, I really honestly hope either we get the best of both worlds here. One, we get that restaurant in Galaxy's Edge and they figure out logistically how to do it properly, or we get the restaurant and that second attraction that has the space for that. Because I think that land deserves a third attraction. There is what, two or three kind of like portal looking big door entrances that you can clearly see where a ride is meant to go there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's definitely I said to OG on one of our shows that we did together, and I said I honestly feel like they're going to do something with Galaxy's Edge before they touch Tomorrowland.
I think so. You know what? I think, but see, here's the justification I could see. They could do both at the same time. And the reason I say something like that, because whatever they build, whether it's the restaurant or another attraction, it's all backstage. So it's not going to affect the land. So if they wanted to shut down Tomorrowland and basically bulldoze it to the ground and start over, and then also build that or third attraction for Galaxy's Edge and maybe the restaurant or just a restaurant or maybe just the attraction. They don't the best thing in the world is they don't have to close Galaxy's Edge for that. Because it's all backstage where they're going to put these items if they do so.
Yeah. I
So
definitely agree. Now, there was something I wanted to ask you. Oh, that was, speaking of Tomorrowland. Now, you
yeah.
see like how they're kind of like, updating Carousel of Progress, which we know we didn't really see that coming. Rather than close the whole entire land down, would you see them doing Tomorrowland in phases?
So I can see them doing it in phases, but it's very, very difficult. The reason I say difficult, because everything's so close to each other. Then you got the People Mover track, which is, again, I'm not even going to get into that. That could be an hour-long video in itself. But the People Mover tracks go through all these different buildings. So if they were going to do it in sections, the first section I would possibly work on, and I'm going to be really honest with you, and people might not like it, is get rid of that stupid what's that attraction right in the front? What is it called? The
Actual order.
Get rid of that and either get rid of it permanently or put it back on top of the People Mover station and remodel the People Mover station. Because one of the things that George said, even with Tron Ares coming out, if that movie does well, because obviously Fantastic Four, a lot of people liked it. I liked it. George liked it. but just reviewers did not like it, is the mere fact that I've seen the picture. George, I know you've seen the picture. OG's seen the picture, but it kind of had that Tron Ares look of the People Mover station where it sits now, but it's all futuristic. There's like this high tech glass with beams running through the glass. It looked totally futuristic. So, how I would do it, I would close that section off first. I would, and again, I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but I would bulldoze and get rid of um, Star Tours, move it to Galaxy's Edge, figure a spot somewhere, even if they have to tear down a backstage building, figure a spot where it's not going to take over the third attraction. So you'll have 4 attractions in that land, which I'm okay with. But move Star Tours, bulldoze that building, get rid of, well, I don't know, maybe the Starcade, or not the Starcade, but the gift shop maybe can stay. If not, bulldoze that, but save that neon type Mickey thing on the side of the building. Definitely save that. Don't destroy that. And then I would close that. So all the way up to probably, I would say probably where Buzz Lightyear is, but still have Buzz Lightyear open. But again, you bulldoze all that stuff. And if you have to temporarily, you bulldoze the tracks of the old People Mover and you get rid of where it splits off going into the 2 buildings, and you bulldoze it all the way up to where the station's at. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You leave the station alone. Obviously, you remodel it so it's futuristic, but you get rid of that building, the gift shop, and then if you really wanted to get balls to the wall, you could get rid of Buzz Lightyear and start with that. Because obviously people go in there for, obviously, Star Tours still has a big fan base, Buzz Lightyear still has a fan base, Space Mountain has a fan base. Everything else, I don't know, it's dead to me. Again, for a massive building like the Star Wars launch bay to have a tiny little room for vacation members, sorry, that building, I'll be the first one to put a hard hat on and jump in a bulldozer and start ramming the damn thing until it's to the ground. But you know,
Well,
that's
I'll hand it off to you when I start knocking down the houses off of Harbor.
perfect. That works for me. But that's how I would start it, because I think there is a future for the People Mover. Like I said, I've seen the concept art. If I find it again, I'm going to send it to you, George. So
Mm.
maybe when I'm on the live stream tomorrow talking about the second day of Destination D23, I can we can share that photo and kind of go back to this and just put a pin in it.
Mm.
But once I show that photo, if I can find it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Is on the direction of what Tomorrowland needs to go towards. Whether it's going to be a Tron land or it's going to be based off Fantastic Four, because they're both placed in that retro futuristic. Obviously, Tron's more futuristic, but I don't know. Fantastic Four kind of felt like that way as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I feel like honestly, Tomorrowland has a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's a lot of potential there. It's just picking the right direction that Disney has to take, and it's whether it's in segments or if it's the whole kit and caboodle.
yeah,
As long as it gets done.
and and I kind of feel it's going to be, and I'm being gracious here. I think it's going to take a 3-year project. I really
Oh,
honestly do, because
that's
a great friend of the channel, Hey Bricky, did a video, and he kind of did the ins and outs of Tomorrowland, and there's a lot of infrastructure that would have to be either relocated, filled in. There's tunnels underneath that don't get used anymore, hardly at all. So there's a lot of problem solving. Just because they tear down physical buildings that we can see does not mean the underground is going to be any more easy, because there's a lot of issues with that as well.
yeah, absolutely. And compliments here to Johnny Ace. Scott Gustin just posted the Emperor entering the pool party right now, and I had to bring it up. Sure enough, there's Emperor Cusco as the llama going
Yes,
into Typhoon Lagoon. So that's awesome. I think that's really cool how they can incorporate the Emperor's New Groove, have the characters there for the pool party, utilize Typhoon Lagoon. So I think that's really cool.
oh, 100%. I'm surprised they haven't made an attraction off that.
Yeah, like that alone should be I mean, that's awesome. And then we got Capture the Magic in the house. What's up, fellas? What's up, Capture the Magic? Welcome in. And Kevin Davis, welcome in. Says Netflix K-pop Demon Hunters is popular right now, but I do believe the Oscar voters is going to give it to Zootopia 2 for best animated feature to end their drought in this category. It's interesting with that because do you feel like that it should be based off of like the Academy straight decision of who gets best, or if it should be like popularity of like what is really the best movie or animated movie of the year? I know OG would say there shouldn't even be an animated category. They should all just be in one. If an animated film is great, then it should just be up with the big dogs.
That's what I kind of am pointing towards, but I'm also pointing towards if you had both sides and you kind of did a poll, and whatever poll was more like had more votes in the positive direction, that's how I would look at it. Give variety, don't single something out, especially on something like that. Because, for example, like OG, like you mentioned with OG, the thing I would look at, are you going to base off a movie like that? And again, this is just a hypothetical. I'm not saying they would ever do this, but something that popular like a Demon Hunters, would you really put that against a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie? Does it really make sense? I don't know. So I think having multiple polls on something would be a better option than having just single category. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just depends on like one's own, preference,
definitely.
Kyle's thought said Fantastic Four makes sense for Disneyland. I feel if you cut the Intervention building and half of Autopia, you will have land for an e-ticket Fantastic Four ride. Yeah, honestly, if you cut the whole entire Autopia, you could have a full-on land in general. Like, I think there's a lot that could be utilized in Tomorrowland because there's a lot right now. Yes, it is still being utilized. It is popular, and Disney is still going to kind of capitalize on that. But in time, I think eventually it's going to have to go because Disney is going to want to drive heavy IP. And like literally just with today alone at Destination D23, with all the new movies and stuff coming out, Disney's going to want to capitalize on that. Definitely.
I 100% agree. And going into that discussion, having, because we've talked about it, that spaghetti bowl of people mover tracks, monorail tracks, you got the Autopia track, we've talked about it possibly having like Arendelle in that section because you got the lagoon right there. But as much as people probably would not like it, because I think Tomorrowland needs so much help, and I think every Disneyland park domestically and around the world should have a Tomorrowland. I would not be opposed to having a Tron light cycle put in our Tomorrowland if it takes up the footprint of Autopia. I'm okay with that. You could still have the lagoon and kind of have like a Tron Ares type water show at night and still have the lagoon still there. That could just be a water feature of the attraction, kind of, keep it there. And I can see Arendelle, if they don't put it in that section. Bricky, again, shout out to Hey Bricky, he did a video a long time ago, and he said in that Lilo and Stitch parking lot they could put Arendelle. So, and that would be behind Tiana's and Winnie the Pooh and all that. So
yeah. And we got Keep It Real with Dan. Welcome in. And he said, no more news about Tropical America's Monstropolis or Piston Peak. What a disappointment. Yeah, I thought for sure, like, they were going to make some sort of update with
Sure.
those moving forward. Now, again, we still have tomorrow. So again, and I don't want to give anybody's hopes up, but I mean, there's still a possibility. I know with Monstropolis, they did give out a little piece of news yesterday, that the third party animation studio that works with Monsters at Work is going to do the animation for the attractions for Monstropolis. And honestly, I don't know how I really feel about that. I don't know why Pixar wouldn't work on it themselves. I mean, they did Cars, they did Cars Land, they did Toy Story Land. Like, why wouldn't they do Monsters Inc?
100%. See, that's just another question of, scratching our heads. And in there, I thought I heard that they're trying to put together another Cars movie. Is that something that's hypothetical, or is that something in the works?
So I don't think it's a Cars movie, but I think it's a Cars like series.
Okay, so that could be the justification if we don't hear, and that's a long time to wait. But if we don't hear anything by D23 or even before that, you can guarantee boots on the ground we're going to hear something about that TV series at D23, and
Yeah.
that's going to tie in the Piston Peak somehow.
Yeah. But going back to what your concerns and questions earlier, when you said when we go down to Florida, are we going to see any like scaffolding or any kind of structures for the Piston Peak? And I think even before then, we're definitely going to see a lot of like bone structure to that.
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah, 100%.
See, Capture the Magic says, I think the Oscars are about as important as being voted prom king in high school. That is so very true. That
Oh,
is so very true.
so
Mike,
so
Mike
so
drop on that one.
so Jared is basically hinting at he was voted prom king. That's what he's saying. Okay, I can see that, Jared. I can see that. Okay.